currently recording right now, so if you want to start, go ahead, Sunshine.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ALP1 podcast. I am Sidonian Muse, league owner for an ACS. Tonight, joining me as my partner in crime here, we have the Brazilian terrorist himself. Even though he's not from Brazil, but he's caused acts of terror at Brazil. That's Golden Sniper.
Hello,
How are you,
welcome.
Golden?
I am. I was doing good apart from when you decided to enact war crimes on my behalf. Um, yeah. Thank you for that unwaveringly amazing introduction, and it's a
Perfect.
real pleasure to be sat here with such a cunt,
Perfect.
and I mean
Sounds
that
like you're
with
all riled
every
up, ready to
term of
go.
shit.
Perfect, perfect. Well, today, Golden, we're doing something we've never done before for NACS. And if the
hmm
guys like this, we'll keep doing it. And that is F1 driver ratings for the Canadian Grand Prix. So
The
heavily
worst.
inspired by, heavily inspired slash basically ripping off slash don't sue us um, from the P1 podcast with their driver ratings that they do every week,
Yep.
which I'm sure they're going to do this week with the Belgian Grand Prix coming up.
hmm
Well, we just did our Canadian Grand Prix race free of season 4 of the assists of NACS. I have to think about that for a second. We've done a good bit of seasons now.
hmm
And yeah, me and you, we went through. We looked at the 12 drivers who raced the race last night,
hmm
and we looked at their qualifying and their race positions, and we both came up with our own ratings for how we would rate everyone's drives from last night. And I don't know about you, Golden, but personally, I found for the most part, there wasn't anything too horrific. No one had too,
hmm
it wasn't, there weren't any drives that were absolutely horrific last night. There were some questionable, weaker ones, but I feel like a lot of people held their own, just did their thing, or had
hmm
really, really good drives. Overall, I personally felt like last night's race was really good. I think it's the
Mm.
best. Well, I know I'm biased as hell, but
I
I
wonder
mean,
why.
I thought it was one of the better races we've done in a while, probably since Australia last season.
hmm
Monaco last season.
Hey, we didn't need to bring that
That's
part in.
yeah, that would have been an interesting one to do ratings of if we had done
Oh,
that one.
mate. Just 4, 3, 3. So,
Yeah.
fucking slings at like 9, and I think, hang on.
Yeah.
I think we're missing someone else. Ah, who cares? Probably no one.
Yeah,
No, no, just,
but
it's no one.
so
Anyway,
there were 12 guys who raced last night.
12
We
men.
each decided to we're gonna rate them from their drives from 1 to 10,
hmm
and we're gonna go in reverse order,
hmm
just like the P1 podcast does it real life. They go off of last
How
season's
boring.
standings.
How boring.
So we're gonna go in reverse order from, we're gonna start with the few people who didn't participate last season, and working our way through the people for where they finished in the constructors last season in NACS. So we'll be starting with Orange, who's brand new to the league in the Williams,
hmm
and then we'll be ending with me and you since we won the constructors last season.
You just had to throw that out there, didn't you? You just had to glaze each
Oh
other.
yeah,
You glaze us even more.
oh yeah,
Suck
absolutely,
my dick, McLean.
bro. It's the ALP1 podcast, man. It's the ALP
You,
podcast. Like that's what
okay,
we're made to
don't
do.
you fucking ever dare say ALP podcast ever again. Never. It's LP1 now. I thought of it for two
LP
seconds.
LP1. Okay.
Yep.
So yes, let's get into this. We'll start things off with Orange. His name's longer than that, but we'll just call him Orange for now. And Orange
Very questionable name.
qualified in 10th, did not finish. What are we
hmm
saying? You can start.
You know, maybe I don't feel like starting. Maybe the more experienced driver in this league should just start it off. Somebody who's much older, more known to how everyone races. Maybe.
Okay,
You start off,
someone's scared to give the first rating. Okay.
maybe.
I will start this off with Orange. I'm gonna give him personally, I'm giving him a 4.
hmm
You could be a little harsher than that. I'm being kind of generous because it's only his second race with us.
hmm
He's new to league racing in general,
mm
and his qualifying wasn't anything to write home about, but he is new, and he did almost finish the race.
hmm
He crashed in the last couple of laps, and what
mm
happened to him, you know, his tire just popped off.
Bong.
It can happen. It is his own fault, but he did almost finish the race,
hmm
and overall, he was looking a lot better tonight than he was last week at Abu Dhabi. So I don't want to be too harsh on him. I don't think he deserves definitely nothing lower than a 3, I don't think, but like I'm personally going to give him a 4. I'm being pretty generous. If he qualified a little better, might have given him like a 5, but
mm
or if he had finished, probably would have given him like a 5, but I'm going to give him a 4 because he crashed out near the end.
mm That's I personally find nothing wrong with that, to be honest.
Yeah, what have you gone with?
Um, I did just say that I find nothing wrong with that. However, I have given him a 3. He did obviously crash, and his qualifying wasn't, again, like you said, not anything to write home about. I was,
Yeah.
for the slightest amount, going to think about giving him maybe a 2, but he did outqualify Mr. Kogo, but then again, Mr. Kogo's qualifying, in any sense of the phrase I'm about to say, is and pardon my French, but fucking horseshit. So, um, I do give him major props for having the balls to outqualify McLaren and Sling can pull his weight when on his day. Um,
Oh
but it's
yeah, yeah.
mainly because he's slapped in front of both of them. His race, I didn't really see too much of him, to be completely honest. But then again, he did hold his ground in his fight to wherever he was about to finish. Just unfortunate with the little nick on the wall of champions taking yet another victim. So yeah, unfortunately, it's just
Yeah.
been a topsy turvy race weekend for him in general. But again, there are some positives to find, but it's not good enough, to be completely honest. And I'm sure he can just improve for next week. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters. I think yeah, agree with everything agree with everything you said. You
hmm
give him a 3, I give him a 4.
hmm
We're on the same mark there on him.
mm
Moving on now to the Aston Martin duo, who were
Oh
both
boy.
there last night, who did not get any points at Abu Dhabi, so they were really hoping to come back and get some points for the team, and they did. We'll start with the person who did get points for the team,
Mm.
Gucci. He qualified 8th, and he finished the race in 6th. I'll let you do this one first, since I did the last one first.
All right. Well, in qualifying, it was
I will
actually
say, sorry to cut
sorry.
you
Go on,
off. I
go
will
on, go on.
say, I also want to hear what you got to say first because I'm kind of stuck between two numbers.
hmm
He's kind of like the hardest one for me to rate right now, so that's why I
hmm
kind of want you to go first on this one.
All right. Qualifying for him actually wasn't horrendous. I will say he had a very decent qualifying to start off. Obviously, P8. Obviously, there's only 12 drivers, so there's nothing really to write home about his position. But his pace, I felt was actually quite good. In the race itself, I didn't see too much of him. I did have to see him at the start of the race due to unfortunate incidents. But yeah, no, he had some good pace with me. We both caught up Sling. And he was just a solid. He was just solid. He held his ground just like Orange did when he was here fighting his own little battles. Um, I just thought Gucci fought a little bit more towards the end when the safety cars came out. Obviously, bunched everyone up. He had that bit more of an edge to some of the other drivers. Um, and again, it's not the best from him. I know there's a lot more potential in him. So I've actually gone with a 6, even though I've just hyped him up so hard. So yeah.
Oh wow, okay, a six, yeah.
Hmm.
A six. I will say one thing to keep in mind though, Gucci, is that he did get absolutely yeeted by a bot at the very beginning of the race.
That is very true. That is very true. Now I feel like I'm being too harsh. Um, Poor lad.
So for me personally, I was stuck between a seven or an eight for Gucci
Uh huh.
because you also got to look at the head to head with the teammate.
Uh huh.
And yeah, obviously on one lap pace, Caleb went off in qualifying,
Mhm.
but then he immediately made a mistake in the race, and it just felt like Gucci was the more consistent driver
Mhm.
the whole night. Now he wasn't super fast, but he put his head down and just focused, got in the zone, turned everyone down, muted everyone, whatever he had to do to get in the zone, and he did it.
Mhm.
Um, so that's why I was even debating giving him an eight, but I'm personally uh gonna give Gucci a seven,
Mhm.
because I agree. I think we saw what he did at Spa. He got top five at Spa, I'm pretty sure, and so he can do better,
Mhm.
I think. But still, he finished the race. His teammate didn't. Now we'll get to his teammate in a second. It wasn't entirely his teammate's own fault for that, but he did finish the race. Got more points for Aston Martin,
Mhm.
and yeah, he's been again. It's only his third league race. He's also brand new to league racing, and yeah, his second points. Got points in two of the past three races. So and good points at that too. Fifth and sixth place.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I'm gonna go seven. I'm gonna go again little more generous. I'm gonna go seven
Mhm.
for Gucci. For Caleb, definitely the hardest one to rate out
Mhm.
of everyone. Qualified second and then DNF'd in the race.
Mhm.
Um, I'm personally going straight down the middle with Caleb. I'm giving him a five
Mhm.
because the qualifying was so good, super good qualifying, almost got pole, but then everything just fell apart in the race. And I mean, even before his wheel went out on him again. I mean, like even from the get go. I mean, he spun. He didn't make it two corners without spinning,
Mhm.
and not only just spinning, like spinning into you, which almost took you out of the race completely.
Mhm.
So I got to be harsh on that more so than anything. And then he also smacked into the back of Orange on lap five. So yeah, he had great qualifying, and then it all just started going downhill. And then he was trying to hold on in the race, and then his wheel died on him, and he crashed.
Mhm.
Uh, just like it did last Saturday in the no assist at Abu Dhabi. So yeah, I've just gone completely down the middle on Caleb, um, because I don't want to be too harsh. Because yeah, he didn't finish, but it wasn't entirely his fault. So like, I don't want to be too
Mhm.
harsh. So I'm just gone straight down the middle, just because of how good his qualifying was.
Yep. That's
So what did you
so
go
good.
for? What did you go for
I
on
actually
him?
went the same with you. Surprisingly, we've actually agreed on something once. Um, I actually went straight to the minutes. I said five as well. His qualifying was just top. Like when you think of Kogo qualifying, you think top shelf performances, and that was possibly one of his better ones. Even though it's really early on the season, he's just showing amazing pace in one lappers. Now, the race itself, like you said, an absolute fucking shit show from the start. Almost took one said ALP1 driver who shall not be named for legal reasons. Almost sent him to the Shadow Realm, back to whatever village he came from. Um, Obviously, that wasn't. It was a very shaky start, and then towards the middle, yeah, just try to level it out. Did have an incident with Orange as well, and then just that really unfortunate moment at the Wall of Champions again, just taking someone else out for just no reason. You know, the wall turned in on him too quickly, and Caleb couldn't do anything. Um, but yeah, I mean, it just started really well, and then it just like it's like you can say like you can start really well, and you can hold aloft your performances, but you can also at the same time crash and burn almost as quick. And I feel like that is the prime example of Cale's race today. It wasn't his best, and there's definitely work to improve on. So the 5 would be pretty much perfect to sum up him in Canada.
Yeah, I think he's really harsh on himself, so he probably would have even given himself lower than a 5 if you were to have asked him afterwards. But I mean, you got to
Mm.
give credit for the qualifying, but
Mm.
you don't get any points. Don't get any points for the qualifying. But
Unfortunately.
it's just but it's just we know what he can do. We saw it
Mm.
at Spa in the first race of the season. Almost got the win.
Mm.
Well, he did cross the line first at Spa, so yeah, I'm sure he'll have some really, really good drives down the line
Mm.
that we'll be able to give him some kudos on, but this wasn't one of them, unfortunately.
Mm.
Just to double check, so everything's going good with the recording. We're all
Yep,
still good.
everything's going good. Still going really nice on my phone. Feeling my battery is dropping
Okay.
like a motherfucker, but that does not matter.
Okay. We'll move on to the Mercs then,
Yep.
which is Dan and Queso,
Hmm.
his new teammates. We'll start with Queso because this was his first race in the league. Jumped right in, qualified sixth, and then finished eighth. Now, uh, sixth and eighth, but Stewart decisions impending.
Mm.
He might gain a spot up to seventh, so might be qualified sixth, finish seventh.
Hmm.
So that's why you could argue a six for Queso, but that's why I've personally gone with a seven for Queso,
Hmm.
because it was mainly because it was his first league race
Mm.
with us, and he kept it clean. He just did his thing. It wasn't anything to write home about. So I mean, I could see if you give him like a 5 or 6, understandable. But I've
Mm.
personally given him a 7 just because I thought uh he didn't do too bad for his first league race with us,
Mm.
and and got points for Mercedes out of the
Mm.
two Mercedes drivers.
Mm. We won't name who the other one was. I mean, you literally just said it 30 seconds ago.
So yeah, what did you go with for Queso?
Um, it was one of the numbers you did say. I did give Queso a 6. Obviously, his first league race, he wanted to make a real impression on everyone, and with qualifying, he actually did. P6 in a bloody cracker position. Um, we didn't really know anything coming into it. All we knew was his teammate was a good friend of his, and to be honest, he's showing really good um pace. To be honest, like for someone who hasn't known him that long, he's very quick. Not as quick as his teammate, but he can definitely fight with the mid pack as well. So I give kudos to him for the quality. The race, like you said, nothing to write home about, but he still did finish in a really good point position. And with stewarding, that could bump him a little bit, but I feel like even with the quality position and everything, I know there's more for Queso, and
Yeah, that was also a very weird qualifying
mm-hmm,
session as well. The track conditions were really weird, so
mm-hmm,
for him to get sixth out of all that is pretty good.
mm-hmm,
So yeah, 6 and 7. Queso, not bad for his first league race. And then we got Dan, his teammate, who qualified on pole, got pole position
mm-hmm.
in the Merc. His first one since China of last season. We won't talk about that one,
Why not?
but
Why not?
but yeah, he got pole, but then he did not finish. He hit the wall champions. So do you wanna go first for this one? I've
We
gone
will
first
we will go there.
for the
Now
past
I don't know
two.
if I'm being a little bit harsh on Sir Mr. Daniel. I did say there were going to be one or two controversial ones flying around. I did tell you before the start of this podcast to not yell at me, please, because you get very scary. Um, Pole is just, to be honest, it should be expected from someone with the pace of Daniel. Um, I've been in another league with him, and that man just does not stop. He just doesn't stop. He will make you absolutely hate yourself with how quick he is. Um, I'm sure you can definitely definitely speak on that matter on a certain little race somewhere in East Asia in a massive fuck off continent slash country. But again, we're not here to talk about the shit show that happened in China from last season. We're here to talk about Canada. And DNFing into the World Champions it just seems like a really recurring theme this race. Just everyone just does not know that fucking bit of wall turns in on you really quick. So for the love of God, stop hitting it. It's doing it on purpose, for fuck's sake. Um, but yeah, race pace, I feel like he was alright. I feel like he's a bit of a quality merchant, as some people would say. Not me. I'm just a messenger. So with all that said, I'm going to definitely get a couple of pitchforks thrown at my house. I've actually given him a 5.
Okay, fair. He got pole and then he DNF. You gave him a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Same as Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
Understandable. I've personally given him a 6.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a. It seems like I've been the more. I've been a little. I'm the good cop. You're the bad cop today.
Mate, I don't know
How
what
it
the
would
fuck
seem.
you're
I've given.
saying, man. I'm just seeing it through my own fucking eyes right now.
But I gave Dan a 6
Mm.
because he only just got this game like a week ago.
About a week ago.
He did he did Abu Dhabi and he did all right, and then he comes in here in a very weird qualifying session and slaps it
Mm-hmm.
on pole.
Mm.
So, and I would have given him a 5, but his pace in the race actually wasn't bad.
Mm.
He just it's just Canada track limits, it could be tricky. And then like if he had finished the race, it definitely would have been a way higher rating, but
Mm-hmm.
he crashed, so I can't give him any higher than a 6.
Mm.
So that's why. So I've gone with a 6 for Dan. So 5 and 6 for Dan.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I wouldn't say your 5 was too controversial. I think you're in the right ballpark on that.
Mm-hmm.
But now there was only one Red Bull driver there last night, and it was Vodka. Drupally couldn't make it; he was out of town, so it was just Vodka.
Or maybe he just slept with his
Vodka
alarm.
Vodka qualified ninth, and he finished 7th in the race.
Mm-hmm.
Though because of stewarding, he might get dropped to 8th. So
Mm-hmm.
ninth and 7th or ninth and 8th, depending on how you look at it for Vodka.
Yep.
Do you want me to go first?
Uh, Fuck it, why not?
Okay, so once again, good cop over here. Um, I've gone with a 4 for Vodka. The
God.
reason why the reason why I haven't gone any lower than a 4 is because yeah, his qualifying was nothing to write home about, but I felt like his pace in the race actually wasn't that bad.
Mm.
Like like the past two F1 games, he's been struggling a lot on his pace. Um, and usually gets someone goes wrong and he gets mad and he falls back or falls off or quits out or whatever. But he actually his pace was like he was actually doing pretty good. It's just he screwed himself over with that last lap lockup.
Mm.
That ruined it for you and him.
Again, we didn't say
So
anything about it.
you definitely could argue a 2 or a 3 for Vodka. Um, definitely arguable, but I gave him a 4 because I felt like his race pace, he was actually until that happened, he was actually having a pretty good race.
Mm.
But then that happened, and that's a complete big, massive fuck up
Mm.
that was very costly to himself and to you. And it's going to cost him late. It might cost him later in the season because you're going to get penalty points on your record for that.
Mm.
That could lead to a quality ban, or race ban later on down the line. So
Mm.
yeah, so that's a big. So I'm giving him a 4, but I'm being very, very generous. I mean, he himself also knew how badly he fucked up there. Like he really ruined it, botched it at the end, unfortunately.
Mm.
But I'm still giving him a 4 for what he showed he could do. What are you going with?
Okay. Another controversial one. Obviously, qualifying, ninth, isn't where we really would expect him, to be honest. You usually expect him maybe top 6, maybe pushing for a second row finish. Um, just really, again, a really weird qualifying position up and down. That's not what you expect from someone with the caliber of vodka. So he's really just shot himself in the foot a little bit, but his race pace, to be honest, wasn't that bad. It was actually, I would take that race pace if that was me, to be honest. I didn't really see much of him, but from what I saw, it was not bad. Um, there was that incident at the end that I feel really skewed it for me. But then again, he did get a points finish. He did survive the race. He showed decent pace on the softs towards the end, and maybe towards his second, first or second pit stop. Um, so this is extremely controversial, and I'm definitely again going to get some pitchforks thrown at my head. I've actually gone with a 6,
Oh,
and
ooh,
and and I say that um,
oh.
my initial rating before we started with this was actually it was actually going to be a 6.5 before you told me we had to do um before we had to do whole numbers. So it was actually going to be a six and a
Oh,
half,
yeah.
slightly pushing toward the 7. But then you said whole numbers and everything. And I took everything into account. And then the last thing that ticked me over the edge to push it to a 6 was that last lap incident that really just pulled his own feet under the rug and made him fall into a big, big hole. And you don't know what the stewards are going to think at the end of that. In my opinion, that's pretty cut and dry. That's a penalty going to be flying his way, and he's definitely going to be losing that position. But I'm not a pussy. I'm going to stick to my word. I'm giving him a 6.
Nice. I did not see that coming. I thought you were going to be more harsh than me on
No,
that one,
absolutely
but
not, mate.
ended up being the opposite. 'Cause yeah, I agree. He had good pace in the race,
Mm,
but he has been looking a little better on this game than he was on 24.
mm-hmm,
So, and I don't know, that last, I think I'm pretty harsh on him for that last lap incident just
mm.
because he's been around the block now and like, it's the final lap of a race. Like,
Over
just
the
get the
line.
car home,
I
play
do
it
give him
safe,
kudos
So
though for not actually rage quitting this race as per usual. Um, just I give him respect for not yeeting himself into the pits and retiring. So that as well,
Okay, fair enough. So that was our most separated one, I think, so far. Funny enough,
surprisingly.
how that worked out,
Yep,
surprisingly. But here we go. So we're into the three big teams now. We're into the three big teams
one of them should not be here, but we've moved.
from from last season. Um, so we're starting off with last season's Mercedes, but are now in the Ferrari, and that is Pete and Sling.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll kick things off for Sling. Sling qualified in 11th, so he only outqualified Kogo, who didn't really get a lap in, and but he finished the race in ninth,
Mm,
and got 2 points for Ferrari. So I gave Sling straight down the middle of 5.
mm.
Nothing to write home about. He hates Canada. He's said it multiple times. It's like his worst track, but he still finished the race and got a couple points in a race where 3 or 4 people DNF'd.
Mm,
So he just did his thing and got through it. Obviously he had like no pace whatsoever, but he survived it. So that's why I'm still gonna give him a 5 and give him straight down the middle. I mean, you could be a little more harsh and give him a 4, I guess, or something, but
mm-hmm.
I think uh, I think he's just he got. I mean, the fact that he came out of it with a couple points, I think is pretty good for him considering how much he doesn't like that track. So yeah, 5 for Sling from me.
Mm. That's fair. Um, I actually went down. I think we're reverting the roles back again. It was I'm now the bad cop. Then Vodka was a good cop, surprisingly. And now we've just reverted straight back. I've gone with a 4. Um, qualifying again, not not really the greatest. Sling isn't really known for his qualifying. He has put some absolute fucking cracker races though, but just not really the best when it comes to qualifying. So that really just didn't help him as much. And then
Yep.
again, just not really any race pace, to be honest. He did obviously get a couple positions off the start with the people having hit incidences and everything. Um, then he saw maybe towards like the coming up like lap maybe 7, 8, he was already getting caught up by the two drivers of one being the Aston Martin of Gucci and the other one being the Alpine of who he shall not be named for legal reasons. Yeah, just a very very disappointing weekend from someone who can actually just on his day just deliver an absolute load. Yes, he can pull something out of his ass when he wants to, but unfortunately, the rabbit is well and truly jammed right in his urethra. So that would be a 4.
That'll be 4 from you, 5 from me, 4 from you for slaying yet.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, pretty spot on there, I think. Now his teammate Pete qualified in third, and he finished in fourth.
Hmm.
I'm personally, and I think Pete would agree with this too. I'm personally gonna give Pete an 8.
Hmm.
It would have been a 9, but he did not finish on the podium, and that's his own fault for getting 6 seconds of time penalties.
Hmm.
Which, keep in mind, he also had a 10-second speeding in the pit lane that he got lucky that there was safety cars that he was able to serve that,
Hmm.
because otherwise he would have been super screwed.
Toasted. Toasted.
Toasted. So
Like a
yeah,
bit
so
of
I'm
butter
still
on it.
giving him an 8, because other than those time penalties, he still drove phenomenally.
Mm.
Kept it clean with everyone. Had some good battles with people, including myself and Great Ace. Um, and fourth for Ferrari right now
Mm.
is still that's still their best finish of the season so far.
Hmm.
Um, so like it's still not a bad drive at all. Still an 8, but
Mm.
I can't give him a 9 because the podium was there. He could have easily gotten podium.
Mm.
Especially with what happened to you at the end. Yeah, he could have easily got it. He could have been on the podium. He could have had P3,
Mm.
or possibly even P2 over Great Ace.
Mm.
So yeah, I got to give Pete an 8. That's the highest I can give him.
Mm. I think we're coming back to the other level peggings now. I've also gone with an 8. Qualifying
Yeah,
third, love that. Slapping the second row,
phenomenal. Yeah.
love that. Standard Pete, just showing pace whenever the fuck he can, love that. Race, pace all throughout, just loved it. But like you said, the time penalties did come into play there. Yeah, then again, that's completely his own thing. Keep it on the fucking track, please. Um, so yeah, an A would be, like you said, suitable, and I feel like he would agree with that. He wouldn't have any discussions at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I think 8 is pretty spot on.
Mm.
We're both in agreement on that one for Pete. All right, so final four. So we're on to the last season's second place finishers in the constructors. They were McLaren last season. They're McLaren again this season.
Boring.
Kogo and I know. Kogo and Great Ace.
Hmm.
We will start off with Great Ace. Um, since I guess he is technically the second driver to Kogo.
Boring.
I
Yeah.
think uh, even though he did finish second in the
Mm.
drivers last season.
Mm.
We'll start off with Great Ace. He qualified seventh, but he finished second,
Mm.
fighting for the win. I have to give Great Ace. I have to give him a 9. I have to give him a 9. That was a phenomenal drive from him. It's not a 10, mainly because for two reasons. One, his qualifying could have been. We know it could have been way better.
Mm.
Great Ace has been really good in qualifying,
Mm.
um, especially recently. Yeah, like he definitely could have qualified higher than seventh. That was a bit of a drop in the ball, and that could have set him up better in the race too.
Mm.
Then maybe he wouldn't have been stuck behind me for all that time.
Mm.
He would have had clean air maybe. So that definitely affected his race, only qualifying in seventh, and then getting that 3 second time penalty. You can make excuses and say whatever. I don't know how I got that or whatever. He is running a pretty scuffed camera angle that might have had something to do with it. Makes it hard to see the lines. So he did, but whatever the reason was, he did pick up a 3 second time penalty. and that did cost him the win in the end. He would
mm,
have won. Yeah, if he hadn't had that. So like I can't give him a 10. If he had won, obviously it would have been a 10 out of 10.
mm,
But like like 7 to first, like yeah. But you know, there was more on the table, which is pretty crazy considering he got P2. Like that was a phenomenal drive. But for those reasons I mentioned, I'm gonna give Great Ace a 9.
mm. That's fairly respectable. Personally, qualifying really skewed my opinion of his entire weekend. Not what you'd expect from someone with tremendous amount of pace. Obviously, runners up in the constructors, of the drivers, I should say, last season. Just was
And
phenomenal
the
all throughout.
constructors.
Oh, well, both. Yeah, my bad. I shouldn't have corrected myself. But yeah, just a guy with phenomenal pace, both quality and race, and you put a result like that out in changing conditions, it's a little bit worrying. Obviously, race phenomenal from him to fight back from the middle pack. Did get a little bit lucky on the first lap. Obviously, shit shows happen. You can't really blame anyone but the people involved in it. Um, he capitalized on that brilliantly. Just sent it all throughout. Did get that penalty though. Cost him the win. That dumbs it down a little bit. So I've gone for an 8.
An 8, yeah, that's also fair.
Mm,
That's also fair. Yeah, I guess I'll just be more generous with the 9
mm,
um because he did finish ahead of his teammate, but again, his teammate did qualify all the way at the back, so like his teammate had a lot more troubles to get through. But um, yeah, eight for Great Ace is also fair.
mm,
Um, yeah, and I think he is going to be kicking himself over that one because it's another win that was on the table for
mm.
grabs easily.
And someone's very little fingers
Um,
took it.
yeah, I guess I'm also just biased because I was with him the whole time, and he kept it extremely clean.
Mm,
So I'm also very happy with his racecraft on his side for that
mm,
race too. So I think that's also why I gave him a 9.
mm.
Before we get to the final 3 drivers, let me just quickly, I just gotta tell Mr. Alex that we're in the middle of recording. Uh, is your phone doing okay on battery?
Yeah, it's on 82%, mate. But it's all good. Not as dead as I thought.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so final 3 drivers. Kogo qualified 12th, dead last, but he finished on the podium. He got third. So yeah, do you want me to go first or you?
Alright, I'll start off. Qualifying. Well, the less said about that, the better. Dead last. Again, from someone you really expect to slap it on the front row. Um,
hmm
changing
Let
whether
alone getting let alone getting an impeding penalty.
that as well, yeah. I forgot to mention him and Sling did get 5 seconds of grid placement, so that really just kicked him up the ass. Um, but I will say this: Kogo, when given an opportunity to just throw everything, including the kitchen sink, not but the kitchen sink, including the kitchen sink, he will throw everything, including the walls of the house and the foundation and insulation, fucking inside the drywall. And that is what he did in that race. That is one of oh fuck, sorry, my headset fell off my head. One of the greatest drive. I'm gonna say this right now. I did say it's gonna be controversial stuff. That is the greatest drive I've seen from him in my very short span of being in this league. Dead last to fighting for a podium is chef kiss. It is amazing to have that raw pace and just throw everything in the race from what can only be described as the worst qualifying session you can possibly be dealt with, the cards at your hand, that is probably a 10 out of 10 drive from someone who is known to have 10 out of 10 drives. But that qualifying just really, it's like he put his own fist up his ass in one way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's
so
like one of
it,
his best drives
yeah.
ever and one of his worst qualifyings ever at the
hmm
same time.
So,
Yeah.
like you say, I'm putting the race into more perspective than the quality. The quality was horrendous. Like swimming through a pile of horse manure.
So
But
what'd you give him?
the I gave him a 7.
Wow.
Mm,
Wow.
yeah, I know.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I
You
know.
gave him a 7.
A 7.
Wild.
I know.
Wild. Okay, so I've got for a 9 for Mr. Shogo.
Uh-huh.
Because I just thought his drive was absolutely phenomenal.
hmm
That is I said this to him after the race, like that is the drive of a champion. Like that's what he's doing right now. He's fighting for the championship
hmm
in both the assists and the no assists.
mm
Like those are the kind of drives that save your championship because if he had even had one time penalty, if he had also had a free second time penalty at the end,
mm
like he might have only gotten seventh,
mm
sixth or seventh, but he got third because he was able to jump people at the end because he didn't have a time penalty.
hmm
Uh, so that also just showed his insane consistency.
mm
Um, qualifying, it was a weird session, but so again, I was debating between an 8 or a 9 for him, but I think I've gone with a 9 just because, like you said, like that is one of the best drives I think he's ever done. Especially the track it is. If it was a track that was easier to overtake on, maybe I'd
mm
be a bit more harsh. But like Canada's pretty hard to overtake on, as proven by of how long like Great Ace was stuck behind me during that race.
mm
Uh, very difficult to overtake on, especially if you're on higher wings than the person you're trying to get past. It's pretty tough. So yeah, however you look at it, either you're harsh or I'm extremely generous, one way or the other. I've gone with a 9. So we're a little separated on the Kogo one, but
mm
yeah, I'm interested to hear what other people got to say about Kogo's drive.
mm
Uh, but yeah, if someone was to say an 8, yeah, they're very similar to a great. I guess you gave him a worse rating than Great Ace because of his qualifying.
hmm
Okay, fair, fair. Yeah, that was a god awful qualifying. Especially with impeding someone, that's
hmm
pretty bad.
hmm
So yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
And now
Yeah, we'll
the
say we'll say
pièce de
we'll say I'm being
résistance.
generous. And now for last year's Ferrari team, which is now this year's Alpine team, myself and you.
Allez,
This is gonna
Alpine,
be the hardest part about
motherfuckers.
that's gonna be the hardest part about doing these driver ratings is that we have to include ourselves
Yep.
and try to
Sat right in
be
front of each other,
and
staring at each other's eyeballs.
and we're not starting off in a good spot to be impartial because in my opinion, uh, that was the best
There
me
were
and you
some
had.
things slipped under the table, I will say that. And it's not money, wink
Yeah,
wink. It's my hand giving you money. I don't
but I
fucking know
think
anymore.
but it's also hard to people are gonna think we're being biased, but
hmm
like I don't really care because I think that was like two of our best drives ever. Like I don't think there's any. Usually we talk and we're like, okay, we could have done this better, could have done this better.
hmm
I don't think there was anything we could have fucking done better
hmm
from that race, to be
hmm
honest. Like that race was how it was.
mm
Um, so we'll start off with you because you qualified fourth. You out qualified me
Shock.
by one spot. Me and you were right next to each other in qualifying. You qualified me with in fourth,
hmm
and then you finished the race in fifth.
mm
Keep and you were involved. There was the lap one incident with Kogo Jr.
hmm
and then there was the final lap incident with Vodka. So you were kind of on the back foot the whole time and
hmm
had a lot of stuff being thrown at you.
mm
But even then, after all that shit, you were still fighting for a podium
mm
there for the last 10 laps or so of the race. So uh, I guess I'll give my rating for you first.
hmm
uh, I was debating one lower, but again, I don't know. I'm in a generous mood. I gave you a 9. I gave you a 9, bro. I think that's one of the best that's some of the best race pace I've ever seen from you. So that's why I've given that a 9.
Mm.
Um, again, it's one of those situations where maybe if you didn't get the time penalty,
Mm.
you get a 10.
Go on there, mate.
You know, it's one of those. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe because if you didn't have a time penalty, there literally would have been nothing better you possibly could have done. Then I would have had to give you a 10. But I'm giving
Mm.
you a 9 because of the time penalty.
Mm-hmm. I
And
completely get that.
yeah, and because unlike myself, who kind of really had to just get something together in qualifying, I also feel like maybe you could have qualified one spot or two higher,
Mm.
maybe been up there with Pete or something. I don't know. So yeah, so I've given you a 9 because a 10 for me from you would be like Monaco last season.
Mm. That's very high
Like that
standards,
would be
man. That's very. I don't know what you're smoking over there. That's
that
very
would
high
be
standards, mate.
that would be a
So
10.
no Australia from last season as well. That's not a fucking 10. No no Spain. Chucking those fucking inters on when I'm retarded, sending the mediums to
Right?
22 fuck off laps. Um, what's the
So
other one I got? I
yeah,
can't
so I've
remember. Too
given
much
you a
alcohol.
9. What have you given yourself for that?
Okay. Again, people think I'm biased because I am.
Uh,
I'm kidding. Um,
How biased?
we're about to find out, mate. Are you sure? Are you sure?
How biased?
Well, we're about to find out as I waffle myself for the next 5 minutes and you tell me to shut the fuck up. Um, quality. Probably one of my better ones of the entire session. So let me say from someone who's not me because I'm going to get sued. Golden. Probably one of the better qualifying performances he's done. I'm seeing this in third person, seeing an absolute retard, but we're balling with it.
Yeah, we're balling with.
For some reason, just decided to absolutely. He's had from some so qualifying. Obviously, it's Spa and Abu Dhabi. For some reason, he's bringing up just another notch in Canada, and if he can pull that pace, so does he. If they can pull that pace, I do not see where they cannot finish into the top two this season. They both look very strong as a duo. Obviously, Golden's at a bit more quality pace. But for some unknown reason, one lap is just a little bit quicker than his teammate. But when it comes to the race, it obviously differs out. Muse is that really pacey driver. Golden's someone who can fight for positions, but he more so prefers to stay back a little bit and just wait, be a bit more patient, and not chucking shit everywhere. Now, to the race itself, obviously, two big incidents that just he really got thrown the kitchen sink at him today. First lap incident with Kogo Jr., Mr. Caleb. Again, both instances were out of his complete control. One at the start, just wrong place, wrong time in the wall, could have ruined his race, could have been a much different story coming into the end of this where we're sitting right now. But, and he did say it, he said it after the race, I believe. That was the greatest recovery drive and probably the best drive he's done ever to fight from the back of the pack, working his way a little bit with Gucci at the start to catch up to Slink. And then once those two started having their own tonsil touching session, he just put his head down, foot on the gas, timed his pit stops to perfection. Everything was just working so well for him. Even towards the end, fighting up, getting to the front runners, where a place he's not really known to be this season with how his races have been going. To be up there itself is just amazing for someone who's really been dimming himself down with his confidence. He could have also got that podium, like he said, if he didn't get that time penalty, which is, in my opinion, a little bit down to his fault with how he broke himself into the Wall of Champions again. Just a really
So what's your
shit
rating
corner.
then, bro? What's your rating? What's your rating?
I agreed with you and I gave myself a 9.
Yeah,
Mm,
fair. I think that's the perfect spot. I think some
mm,
people would try to say, oh no, it's he only finished fifth, so it's like an 8 for him
mm,
or whatever. But no, it's a 9 because the shit at the end was out of your control.
mm,
So yeah, that definitely affects the rating. If something's out of someone's control, I'm not gonna take points off of them for it,
mm.
So yeah, definitely a 9 for yourself there. And then finally, for the current reigning, the reigning free time champ at the
Yep,
moment.
hurry up, mate. Calm down. Don't glaze yourself even more than I just did.
We're gonna bring that up every time.
We've got places to
The
be,
current
mate.
reigning
I've
free
fucking
time,
got to point out for.
the current reigning free time champ, but who's been sucking ass on this game since it
Shock.
came out. Uh, Sidoni Muse qualified fifth, right there with his teammate. Um, very similar times to his teammate and Pete Newfie. Fifth to third, we're all pretty close there. I'm pretty sure,
Something like
or
that.
sixth to third or whatever. We're all pretty close. Uh, and then to quote Pete the Newfie himself there at the end of the race, "How did you do that, Will? How did you do that? How did you do that?" He said it like 4 or 5 times. Um, won the fucking race
Yeah, yeah,
after
yeah. Mhm,
after shooting for a top five. Won the fucking race.
mm.
Didn't get a single track limit warning at probably the worst track in the entire game for track limits, other
Yeah,
than
more.
maybe like Imola or
Yep.
something like that. Yeah, like a top three worst track in the game for track limits. Didn't get a single track limit warning.
Mm,
Was there with Great Ace, who was also really fast because he finished in second. Was there with Great Ace the whole race, and then second half, everything went to shit with the fucking safety cars, and had to do a crazy hard stint that was fucking insane. And then everything with the softs at the end, everything was just like kind of like, okay, stay where you're to, and you'll beat the guys out because they got penalties and you don't.
mm,
So yeah, and again, as you've heard from the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've been very harsh on myself on this game.
mm,
Like I said, if it was last week's race, if we were rating Abu Dhabi, like I'm giving myself like a fucking 6
mm,
or something, like around there. Like that's because I've won Abu Dhabi twice. So like for me to only get like whatever it was, like sixth or seventh at Abu Dhabi, like that's really fucking bad.
mm,
So I expect better. But to come in here to Canada, home track, and with like 12 other drivers who are all a lot of them, like you said, on one lap pace, like Dan, Pete, Caleb are all like way faster on one lap pace, and then come in and just like I said about Kogo, like that's why I think I was so positive with Kogo's drive and why I gave him a 9 is because there's drives like that are just like champion drives. Like those are the drives that win championships.
mm,
Because like you said, you don't get points for qualifying, but even then, it was still my best qualifying of the season so far too. Like it
mm,
wasn't bad, especially considering that I went into low fuel. Like I had to nail that final lap, or I would have been fucked.
mm,
Um, so yeah, so I've this might be keep in mind, this is not being biased because this might be the only time I do it the whole fucking season. But
mhm.
I'm giving myself a 10. And that, like I said, that might be my only 10 I give myself the whole season
Bring out the fucking champagne. Holy fuck.
because I might not win again this season. So I'm gonna fucking
Never say never.
I'm gonna never say never, but yeah,
The old
I'm gonna give
lady is the
myself a
old
10
lady
on that
singing
one.
on the Reign of Sardonian Muse.
There's I personally think that's like one of the best drives I've ever done in league racing. Like
Mm,
that's like a top 3 drive, I think. Like only thing that might come close would be like when I won my first championship at Texas. Something like that maybe.
mhm.
Um but other than that, like that's a 10 out of 10. On a controller fighting against these guys on wheels with no assists.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a 10 out of 10.
That
So
is,
from me, so
mhm,
what did you give Sidonian Muse now to finish off
mhm. Well, barring
the day?
the 12 gauge shotgun underneath the table right now, um, I'm sure it's loaded with hang on. Yes, those are incendiary shells loaded in said shotgun that I pointed straight into one's nether region. I'm only forced for the safety of my own life, to totally give that man a one. Um, just qualified behind his teammate. I'm gonna say this right now, Sidonian, if you're watching this, it's golden. You know you're quicker than him. Why let that man outqualify you for fuck's sake? And for him to have the nerve to say, oh, like when I believe he said something along the lines of, "Don't be fucking stupid. They have time penalties, we don't." And for that cunt to have the nerve to say, "But what if I'm quicker?" And you put up with that shit and you didn't yell at him? One. No, I'm kidding. That just quality, stock standard, where he would expect to be a little bit higher. That's pretty decent compared to the people around him. The race, flawless, not a single track limit warning. The glazing is real. I'm sure there's a Krispy Kreme around here. 10. 10. 10. The judges all give 10s. Golden buzzer.
Alpine win.
Pour the fucking
Alpine win.
champagne.
We
Home
got
win as
Alpine up there.
well.
Home
Just
win with Alpine. Come on.
get, just give that man a knighthood for all I give a fuck about. Something. Give him a key to the fucking, to Endstone. Fuck it. I'll go over myself right now. I'll go to
Sir,
France, go to Emmanuel Macron, and
Sir,
force him to give you a fucking key.
Sir Sidonian Muse.
Sir Sidonian piece of shit. Yes. We're getting
Oh no, I
fired.
appreciate it, buddy. But yes, so those are the driver ratings. Um, we'll have to, I might have to do some little tiny edits to it. But I guess you'll probably just email this. Probably better if you just email this to me, I guess, because you have my email, because I had
Mm-hmm.
to send you those voiceovers
Yep, and I'll read it
before.
out.
So
I'm kidding.
yeah, so you can just send it to me through
Mm-hmm.
email.
Yep.
But yeah, guys, if you're watching this recording back, that's it for the driver ratings for Canada. I think we were pretty much on. I think the furthest gap was two.
Mm-hmm.
I think
That
two
wasn't that
points
crazy,
apart.
surprisingly, judging by
On
some of our
I think
ratings.
our vodka and Kogos were the most controversial, I would
Yep.
say.
I did see the movie
Everything
from
else
one
pretty
fun
spot
round.
on.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for this one, guys. If everyone in NACS and the servers is watching this and is actually listening to this and gives a shit,
All three of you.
we'll keep doing we'll keep doing this. Like we'll do this again
Okay,
for Texas
we
next
might
week.
get a fucking Coco in here for memes.
But we need a good response to do it for Texas, because Texas is going to be the first sprint of the season. So it's gonna be a little hard to do ratings for Texas.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be very tricky
Mm-hmm.
to navigate that. So yeah, if you guys want us to keep doing this for the rest of the season, yeah, give us a good response on this. But other than that, Golden, anything else you gotta say, or are we good?
Just one more thing. You didn't mention a fucking sponsor. They're pretty mad at us, mate. So before we get cut off the air and we get our money taken away, all 300 Vietnamese dong, I would like to proudly say that this, the first ever episode of the ALP1 podcast, totally not ripped off, is proudly sponsored by Cadbury Chocolates. Um, making every American fatter, one chocolate bar at a time. Suffer in pain, Cadbury chocolate. So yeah, that's it.
Beautiful,
Love it.
beautiful.
Absolutely
All
love it,
right,
mate.
good stuff, guys. See you next week for Texas.
Totally, motherfuckers.